What's up, guys? It's your boy Jody Dean, Mr. Hunting the Dead. Welcome back to another video. Guys, once again, we are on the scary camping scene. Jared and I are looking for that scary tonight, so smash that thumbs up, comment below, share this on social media. Links for our Patreon and to become members is in the description below. Now, the last time we were here, we had a lot of experiences. We documented a lot of evidence, but ultimately, this place just keeps bringing us back because, I mean, last time we found a dead deer that was bloated and waterlogged, just laying half into the water, but also we heard a loud splash. Now, the reason this just became really relevant is Rambo over here is getting our fire started for the night, and this gentleman starts walking up to us, and I'm thinking maybe he knows us from the channel, or maybe, you know, he's gonna claim this camping spot here, because we just literally pulled up, we're getting things started, we haven't even got our gear out yet. But he tells me who he is and what he does, and it's really relevant because he actually is in the same field in a way, maybe not as a YouTuber, but in the paranormal, and he has some history about this place that we didn't even know. And you guys are going to hear from him right now. And I just got a little bit of a taste of it, and I think it's going to add a lot to what we're doing here, but also what we've documented in the past. So get ready. We're getting ready to turn shit up a notch right now. Let's go. I'm going to do it just like this. You just introduced yourself to me. Your name is Jordan. Mm-hmm. You have a group that you're the lead investigator of called the Ghost Medics, and you're a medic by day. Right? I love that. I love that. That is an awesome thing. So this guy is saving lives during the day and trying to communicate with the dead at night, pretty much. You came walking up to us, and I'm thinking maybe there's a 50-50 chance this guy knows us from YouTube or something. You were just giving us a flyer.
Literally. I saw
That's crazy. The crazy thing is you end up at a place where we're getting ready to do a paranormal investigation. You're a paranormal investigator, but you have some history about this place. Now, you were just starting to tell me, and I kind of cut you off because I wanted them to hear it the first time we're hearing it too.
Okay.
So, tell me about what you did about the Native Americans and about the drowning.
So, I've been coming to this place for several years now, since I was about 16 years old. Really, the experiences for me have amplified over the last 3 years. I've got to know certain people that have come out here, come to find out they were Indian chief. They knew medicine men, religious, events would happen out here for them. A lot of this out here belongs to the Creek Indians. So back to the drowning exactly. So what I was told is that there was a young boy that was swinging from one of these trees right back here. They since cut down the tree. The rope had broke. The boy dropped down, and he couldn't get back up for whatever reason. They had called out the Houston County diving squad to come out here. Could not find him. Some time had lapsed. They eventually got a large enough group of divers to come out here, and they found out that under this water, there's individual cave systems that runs under.
Wow, bro, what?
And he was actually found and pulled out of those cave systems. He had somehow got into it and stopped. So, back to the experiences that I've had. I'd come out here and try to relax after a long day of being on the truck, or, after a 24-hour shift on the truck, whatever you may have, And I stay out here sometimes a little too long. When I do have experiences out here, it's always at night, and it's always accompanied by that weird feeling that I get. So let me back up and start fresh. What I mean was, one time I was out here, I was by myself. We had actually just got back from New Orleans from our vacation, family vacation. I come out here trying to wind down, and it was about this time, and the clouds were about like it is right now. And all of a sudden I had a temperature drop. I mean, it was a very noticeable temperature drop, 10, 15 degrees. And I felt that, and I've got an intuition of myself. I've had experiences of the supernatural. I'm thinking, okay, this is like a spirit trying to communicate, possibly. You never know. I opened up the communication device that I had. It was a spirit box. It was an old one. And nothing would come through. But all of a sudden, a mist came from down the creek right here. And that's not abnormal by any means. But what was abnormal about this one is it come to, honestly, right about here where this tree is. And it's, the mist or fog, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't have a barrier where it can't get past. But for some reason, it just stopped.
It seemed like it was like a force field just kind of like blocking it up.
Right. And I was like, okay, noted, but let's just move on. Let's continue. Well, I wrapped my spirit box session up again, and I started to have that feeling. And I know you know that feeling that you get. It's a spine-tingling, frozen, solid, fear, impending doom feeling. And I started to hear things come from this side over here. If you look over there, it's nothing over there but trees. And it's about at least 2 football fields of solid trees that direction that you reach a road eventually.
Right.
So I'm listening. I'm just sitting on the swing because that's how I find peace, relaxing. But I'm listening and I start to hear it. And all of a sudden, every bird in Alabama flies out of those trees, covering almost the entire sky.
Wow.
It's a wave.
I got the chills right now because I've seen something like this, and then I had, dude, this is wild. Have you, okay, speaking of that area over there, him and I, the last few times we were here, we heard what sounded like coyotes coming from that patch of woods that you just talked about there, but we would see deer. And I thought it was just a little weird, like you wouldn't think that if the coyotes were that deep in the woods that the deer would just be there, right there like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we were here skinwalker hunting, you could say. Like, we're kind of open to all of it. We want to have paranormal experiences. We're trying to capture anything that could be a skinwalker. We've seen a lot of things we believe could have been skinwalkers here. Does that mean anything to you?
100%. So after that, the birds flying out, I am frozen. I'm frozen solid because that's completely abnormal for this place. And then after that had happened, I hear what I can only describe to you as if you would put a mute button on a bulldozer and drive it through the woods. That's the sound that I heard. And I looked over there, and I see trees about this big around moving. Like, not just shaking, but moving.
What the heck is that, bro? On that side one night, dude, when we were investigating, and we actually got this on camera too, he seen something moving, and at first, I really didn't see it. It didn't lock in. But once I zoomed into it, I'm like, oh my God, it's a deer. But then I'm like, is it? Because it was like 10 feet long. Like, anybody that's seen that footage was like, dude, that is not a deer. Deers are not that long. Like, its body was almost like never ending. I was zoomed in on it, and I started panning, and I'm like, wait, maybe it's because I'm zoomed in. So I zoomed all the way out. And this deer, Jared, like, honestly, how big was that deer?
I would say 10 feet long, stood 7 to 8 feet tall. It was bigger than any horse I've ever seen.
And then it was gone just within a second.
Down and then just disappeared.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It kind of correlates with possibly because I never saw what it was, but I've had several, encounters in the supernatural, and along this journey that I have had in my life, I've read and heard about SWs because I personally won't say their name. I won't.
Gotcha.
And
I've heard a lot of people say that, man. And I understand too, because, by the time I learned all the things you shouldn't do in the paranormal, I had already done them.
Right.
Like, I remember early on, I went into this place, and so many people had said, oh, this will happen, be careful. And I went in there, and nothing was happening, and I started getting a little aggressive, and then things started happening, and they were like, oh, man,
Yeah, I didn't think it was supposed to rain.
But yeah, so that is what got my attention over here. And it had startled me to the point where I had pulled a defense mechanism.
Right.
And I had it in that direction, right? I was behind those picnic tables at this point because I had got off the swing because it scared me, and I scare easy. And I had it fixed at this location because I thought that possibly Bigfoot was about to come out of these woods. I mean, that's how massive it was.
Scary and cool.
And then over in this direction, I'm sure you had, parents when you were younger, would have a certain call when it was time to come in from playing in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And you know that call.
We actually did, yes.
Yeah. So I heard my mom's whistle, and I haven't heard it in years. This direction after looking over here and fixated at this, event happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, based on my research, don't look this way. It's a diversion. It wants you to look this way so it can do whatever it's trying to do.
That's a damn good point. I mean, I think we've both done that.
You better not be using all the Old Spice. Dream that they can live like we do.
An action before where we're like, why is something trying to take us away from this area? Like when we were back over this way, remember? It was like every time we'd go over there, something crazy would happen on that little pathway in those woods, and we would go away, but we kept being pulled back because we really wanted to be there. We're like, well, you know what? It's probably trying to get us away from here. What does it not want us to find?
That clicking, that weird beeping.
Oh my God, I forgot all about the clicking.
Like nothing was there. It just kept beeping and beeping, and we backed out. I stayed on it because I didn't come at us. But there's that whole area. I'd be real interested to just sit over there all night and see what happens.
Well, let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen any gators in here?
Absolutely not. No snakes, no gators.
Okay, so here's what's crazy about that. I don't want to call him a park ranger, but this guy one day, we're coming in here, we were asking him about camping here and stuff and doing the things. He's on like a golf cart or something. He's got like some kind of badge-looking thing on him. And he's like, be careful being next to the water. It's infested with gators. Now, listen, the last time we were here, as I mentioned, we seen a big deer halfway hanging into the water, and it looked like it had been waterlogged from sitting there for so long. And I'm thinking to myself, if there's gators here, why would they not eat this thing?
Right.
But then, what happens, Jared? We're walking along, biggest, loudest noise ever, like something jumped out of the water, and I can't imagine what that would be unless it would have been a gator.
I've never seen any here, and I've spent several days sitting right there, maybe sitting on the picnic table right in front of the swing set over there, just reading a book or listening to music, and I've never seen anything, not even, let alone alligators. I've seen many people fish here and not catch a single thing.
Really?
It's like this creek right here is just
Dried.
Yeah.
Dead.
And so it's funny that you mentioned the deer, though, because me and one of my buddies, it was actually a bros night out before I actually got married, and we didn't do a
Traditional bachelor party.
Yeah, we wanted to have a guys' night out and have a few adult beverages and a fire, right? And we were actually over at the other swings this time. We had a tent set up, mine and his, and so this is about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd say, give or take a little bit, but we start to get that feel. I get that feeling, and he's not very in tune with it, but he starts to feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I start noticing my surroundings, and I see a herd, or what do you call it? Is that a herd of deer? I'm not an outdoors
Gathering of deer.
Food. They're just over there, and they're in this central part, the center of the opening right here, near near the wood line. And I'm looking at it, and of course we have our protection on us again, but I'm really focused on this further part down here where it kind of bends back around, coming right here.
Right.
And I see a deer. But it's like kind of you mentioned, it was just abnormally large, and it was centralized off by itself from the others. And I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, this is odd behavior. Usually deer stay around each other, especially when they're near humans. They don't like people, especially loud noises. But we get over there, and I'm one of those people, I'm going to hit it head on. I don't care what it is. It could be a demon. I'm going to look it in its eyes. I want answers, you know. And I walk over there, and the closer we get, the herd scatter. They do the jumping thing, and they go in the woods. But this one is fixated on us, won't move. We shine a light, staring at us, nothing. We go closer and closer to the point where it's almost from here to that tree over there. Not this first one, but the third one over there. And it does not move. Wow. I pull, and does not move. It looks up, broadens its chest, and turns around and walks off.
Yeah, that's spooky.
Deer guy.
That's not normal at all. By any standards, normal does not exist on that right there. That was definitely I have respect for you, an SW.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, I mean, I think that it makes a lot more sense now, because we've only got to pick the brains of a few people that do work here, around here, and it sounds like you're actually coming out here by yourself, just letting your senses kind of soak it up. So just to have somebody else validate what we've already kind of witnessed ourselves, we've seen that too. We've seen a ton of deer here. Even, the last time we were leaving out of here, when we were done, we seen a bunch of deer in the morning time. And there was something weird about that. I mean, it was almost like
there were what's the phrase? Like centurions, almost just like guarding the road to leave. Like they're
it seemed like they were gonna get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, they were not afraid at all.
Huh? Yeah, we're seeing that long-bodied. I'm gonna call it a deer because it had a deer. It looked like a deer head, but I mean, obviously, the body was like 9 or 10 feet long, dude. I know that doesn't exist. So it was like, we didn't take shrooms. We don't take shrooms. There was something there, man, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a skinwalker or not, but I will say that one time when using a thermal camera, we were somewhere skinwalker hunting, my wife and I, and we did see a wolf, or coyote, walking through the woods, and when it went by this tree, all of a sudden, it was like the tree blocked it out, but it was walking at a steady pace, and it was like, why did it just stop behind that tree? And on the thermal camera comes out a man.
Really?
Yeah, no, that wasn't here. That was behind a haunted house attraction that I just sold. But on the back of that property, and that video is on my channel somewhere. It was probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. But you see it on camera. The heat signature of what looks like a coyote. All of a sudden, the tree blocks it out, and then on the other side, seconds later, it comes out. It's a man.
Yeah. I've got my own thought process behind these entities, but they're shapeshifters. I can tell you that.
Well, it's just wild that we got to meet you here. This is what we do, man. And you had something to contribute to it. So I appreciate that, Jordan. Thank you, man. Definitely, guys, keep an eye out for ghost medics. And I ain't gonna lie, we just departed from Jordan. Seems like a really nice guy, but I'm still shocked that, like, out of nowhere, we're out here doing what we do. By the way, props to Jared once again. He is the fire guy. You've taught me some things about fires, but I'm still not there yet. So this guy, he got a story that we were going to tell before he walked up and we all started talking. Does this story pertain to here, or is this another experience that you've had at some point?
Not one of my stories. Not one of my truths. This is something that I've heard.
Like urban legend?
You're on the road to a good financial future. But what if you could do better? With Credit Karma, you can see if there are better rates for loans and insurance, and see if you're maximizing